Good morning everybody, I'm Steve and welcome to Green Side Up. Just picking some salad for a tea. I'm just picking it straight into a bucket of water and that preserves it for getting it home, stops it going limp on the way home. These lettuces are just about finished now, I would say. And I'll switch to the ones inside or under cover. I think I'll probably rip these out actually, but we'll see how it goes. So there's a few lettuce and I also want a bit of this. This is parsley. I like to mix a bit of parsley in with the salad. We'll go and collect some other bits and bobs. Oh, we'll have some of these while we're here. Some spring onions. There we go, have a few of them as well. So I'm just going to pick some tomatoes as well for this salad. Still quite a few on here to ripen up yet. I think that's enough for a nice salad. These cucumbers are just about finished now, but I think I might get one or two more. There's one there that's green. These lot, there's so many on here, I think they've gone overripe. Oh no, there's another one down there. I'll take that one as well. I think these plants are just about done. So many cucumbers. Yeah, I think that'll do. I've got some Japanese mustards here. This one is Red Giant, and I'm just going to pick off a couple of leaves off these. I just don't want too much, and I don't want to stop these plants growing at present. So that pretty much is enough from that one, and we'll go over to the other one. This is Kamatsuna, and this is again a Japanese tendergreen mustard, and again just a couple of leaves of that just to add a bit of kick to the salad. I'm making a shepherd's salad tonight, so that's where you chop everything up really small. Lettuce, everything, the whole lot gets chopped up small. So that's what we're having tonight. So I'm going to give you a nice little wobbly walk through the big polytunnel here. Here's the first of the mustards underneath these tomatoes, and my bucket of greens that I've just picked this morning. So that's Red Giant under there, and as we move over is the Kamatsuna, the Japanese green. Again, they're under tomatoes underneath here. And here's the first of my pak choi. Now these first two rows are obviously much bigger than the back ones. That's because they were planted earlier. There you go. These smaller ones was where I had some French beans. So they've come out and the pak choi are in. I've got some Rebecca healed in over there ready for next season hopefully. And all the pak choi along the back. In this little bed, 5 rows of lettuce. Okay, this is ready for picking now, but there is no pest damage that I can see on these at all yet. And I want to wait as long as possible before I start picking these, because they will slow down in winter. So the more leaf that's there, the more photosynthesis can go on, the better they can grow before I start picking them. Some spare pak choys in here, and one of the carrot areas for the challenge with Tony Smith. I've just pulled one this morning, just have a look at it, see how it's doing, and there we go. That's the little fella. So they're coming along. There's chantenay's in there. And over here we have some parsnips. These are the trial. I planted or sowed these seeds in July, and they're about the same size as that carrot I've just showed you. Over in the corner some chard. Okay, and skirts over here. These two long beds in the middle, full of brassicas. Some are a bit knackered, but they're there. And that's the salad for tea tonight. Over in this corner we have a few spring onions, what's left of that cucumber, and Chinese cabbage. It's down the back of the tunnel there, the carrot boxes, and more carrots in the bed at the bottom there. Sorry if this makes you a bit sick or a bit queasy, but there's the hanging shelf. These have got all my spare plants on, and I'll just run you along just so you can have a quick peep, and then I'm going to do a comparison. I'm going to show you why I do this. So that's that. Okay, the hanging shelf is there as a pest deterrent. It only hangs by a couple of ropes from the ceiling of the polytunnel. Very difficult for pests to get there. Flying pests is easy, butterflies can get there easy, but I've got something in progress for that next year. But on the whole, it stops slugs, snails and mice getting at your plants. And here's the 3 different degrees of the red giant mustards I've got here. So you've got the seed tray there, which is where I sowed the initial seeds, and you can see you'll get an initial flush when you sow seeds like that. You take your plants out and you throw the compost away. I don't, I leave it, because there's always a certain amount that stays behind that doesn't germinate and takes longer to do that. And you can see that with the plants on the left compared with the plants in the bed. So I've got 3 different stages from the same sowing. So those plants that are in the pots now, they're hole fillers. If I get a bit of mildew coming and it whacks out 6 plants or something somewhere, I can just put those in, and I'll get a few leaves off them towards the end of the hungry gap next year. So it's all about keeping plants in reserve, so that you've got something to put in the ground and you've got a crop or a harvest to look forward to. I can see now there's a couple of holes just beyond those pots on the left, underneath that tomato next to the side there. So a couple of those little plants will go in there in this next week. Just fill that little hole in there. So that's the comparison there with those. So here is my little salad bed. There's 5 rows in this little bed, and here's the little seed tray that all those salads came from, all those lettuces came from. You can see the front of that tray just here. The front of it, the front inch, is where I took those seedlings from, and there's all those in there. Now what I'll be doing when I come back in here to do some proper work, where I'll spend 2 or 3 days in here, as well as cleaning it up and tidying up and filling holes and things, I'll do some potting on, and I'll pot some of those on into modules and let them grow on. Some will pot up into pots because they'll grow better in a bigger space. So I'll have replacement plants, or plants that I can plant out later for a later crop. They might run to seed. I might get a leaf or 2 before they do that, and that's, again, that's what it's all about, is having that flexibility to be able to keep crops coming all winter. I mean, at the end of the day, we could get a severe cold spell, it goes down to -20 and everything dies in here. That's the chance you take, and this is why we do it, really. You know, it's a challenge for me, and I enjoy that. I enjoy trying to keep as many plants coming as I possibly can. Okay, these are Chinese cabbages, and these are the variety called Wong Bok. Now, I'll be honest with you, normally these things, and I've said it before in other videos, normally these things just fail on me, but they're doing incredibly well this year, and I'm really, really proud of those. But you can also see the ones that are potted on from the tray on the right hand side. There was the seedling tray. I potted those on into the little plant pots on the left. So we've got the 3 stages of the cabbage going on. I've also got some of those cabbages planted in my small polytunnel and outside as well, so cabbage galore. And again, it's a winter green, good for you, so no problem. But again, I'm keeping plants coming. That's the most important and vital thing. And just for the sake of putting a plank up on a couple of bits of rope and potting a few plants on, you know, there you go, you've got plants all winter. So up here on the shelf we've got seedlings, and we've got some lettuces. There's some chard there and rocket. There's some amaze lettuce there. They are actually spring cabbage there. Spinach, winter greens, the Kamatsunas. There are actually flowers in there. Tons of rocket, parsley and chard in that one. more winter spinach, and more mustards. So there we go, that's how I grow in the winter and how I like to keep produce coming. I'm still going to be sowing seeds next week and in a couple of weeks time, because I like to learn, I like to find out what you can do and where I can push the boundaries, so that in it, you know, maybe 10 years down the line everything dies and I think, well, I can sow in December, it's fairly mild. But these are the things I like to learn, to find out how I can do things and what I can get away with and how I can grow things. So at the minute you can see the sun's beating down in here. It's in October, it's lovely and warm, and actually I'm a bit toasty in this jacket in here, so that'll be coming off in a minute. So it's lovely and warm, and you can sow stuff now. If you've got the seeds, just chuck half a dozen in or 10 or something, just and see what happens and learn from the experience. And if it doesn't work one way, you know, if you sow into modules and it doesn't work, then try sowing into the ground or into an open seed tray or into a plant pot. Just try different things and see what works for you, but never stop. Keep going and have a go, and that's what I think is important. And you know, if you've got that enthusiasm like I have, you can keep things coming all year. So anyway, that's it for today. Stay safe everyone, look after yourselves, and I'll see you in a couple of days. Ta-ra now.